Good morning. How are you?
Hey, here we go. We made it to Wednesday. Wednesday, or as I like to say, Wednesday. if you speak it phonetically. How's everyone doing, Mindsetters? We've made it. It is Wednesday, June 30th, the final day of June before we barrel full speed into July. Wow, this year is flying by. 2021 is in first gear, zooming along. Anyway, let's get the titles going. Wednesday, midweek, hump day, downhill from here on. All of these things that us working stiffs say as we reach the middle of the week. You know, as we finally realize the weekend is almost in sight. I can almost touch it. How's everyone doing this fine Wednesday? I say fine. Hopefully the weather is good where you are on Earth, whether you're in the United States, in the UK, or some other planet, country. I don't know. Do any other countries exist outside the UK and the United States? I'm not even sure. I don't know if they do. What do you guys think? Tell me in comments. Tell me how wrong I am in the chat or something. Let's see. We got 2 thumbs down already. Wow. I've literally been broadcasting for 3 seconds. And already some fucking maniac has hit thumbs down twice. It's a bit weird, but so be it. So be it. Like I've said many times, if you do not like the stream, or you do not like me, or you don't like Mindset, or whatever, that's totally fine. Just don't come here anymore. Go someplace else. You know, it's that easy. You know, I don't like hitting my set on. I don't like being hit on the head with a rock. So it's very rarely that I grab rocks and hit myself on the head. That's how I avoid that. So if I find a channel or a stream or a movie or a book or a TV show that I don't like, guess what? I don't watch it anymore. I don't read it anymore. I don't look at it anymore. And then I feel better. That's how life works. So here's a clue for all the people hitting thumbs down. If you don't like the stream, go watch something else. Make your life easier. Anyway, we got a good show lined up for you guys today. We got Joe Dunn, the Florida Trailblazer, will be joining us in a little while. In about, what time is it? He'll be joining us around 6:20 or 6:30-ish. We'll get Joe on, and we'll talk about his trailblazing antics, his explorations and adventures out in the middle of nowhere. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Joe, Joe is one of those guys that every weekend throws on a backpack, a pair of hiking boots, drives as far as his car will go, gets out of the car, and then walks another 5 or 10 miles where you can't get cars, all alone, and films this stuff on his channel. So we'll be talking to Joe in a little bit, and he'll tell us about some of the shenanigans he's gotten up to over the years, trailblazing out there in the wilds of Florida, in the swamps and shit. So I'm looking forward to that. Haven't spoken to Joe in a while, so it'll be good to touch base and see what he's up to. Let's take a look at the chat. Let's see who's on and what kind of pearls of wisdom have been dropped in the chat box. Wait, we should do a...
Good morning.
Thank you. We got to do it. We got to do it. All right, let's see. First up, we got... I scrolled all the way back. We got Malawi says, "Good morning, Gareth and peeps. Getting ready for work. We'll watch the show when I'm finished. Have a good stream." You're very welcome. Thank you for swinging by, Mal, just to say hello, and hopefully you'll enjoy the stream when you watch it later. Tim the Pigeon Whisperer says,
"Happy day to you."
Happy day to you, Gareth. Happy day to you, Tim. Thank you for coming by. Really appreciate it. Dr. Ford. I don't think we've seen Dr. Ford on here before, but welcome, Dr. Ford. He's ready and waiting. Tim says, "Come on, hit the like button.
Do it now.
Hit the like button. Give me some likes. Or even better, how about you subscribe? If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. Slam that button. Punch it. Whack it. Slap it. Do what you gotta do, but hit the subscribe." Let's see. Keith Potts. Keith says, "Hello." So I'll give Keith a happy day.
"Happy day to you."
There you go, Keith. Get some new names in here. I'm not familiar with Keith, so thank you for coming by, Keith. Really appreciate it. Jackie's in the house. Jackie Green's Cats and Things. Afternoon. Awesome people. It's very rare that Jackie's wrong. I think Jackie would agree with that. So when she says something like this, she ain't wrong. Let's see. Anyone else? Karen Hoyle says, midweek, we call it hump day. Yeah, that's true. Wasn't there, talking about like political correctness and wokeness and all this stuff, didn't someone get in trouble? I seem to have a vague remember of someone at work saying, a guy saying to a female coworker and on a Wednesday that it was hump day, and she got offended and reported him, and he got in trouble. It's hump, because he said it was hump day. I seem to remember that. Now, I don't know whether that's true, but it sounds like it might be, considering all the fucking nonsense that rolls out on a daily basis. But it's kind of sad, messed up, how someone can get upset over saying it's hump day in the middle of the week, right? It's like Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, and then you get to the Wednesday is the hump, and then Thursday, Friday is downhill all the way. That's what he means, right? But she thought he meant, Let's see. Tim says, "Going quickly." I think he's referring to me talking earlier about how fast the year is flying by. And it is. It's zooming. Full speed ahead, Simon B.A., he says, "Good morning, Gareth." And we get Rick Howden comes in and says,
"Happy day to you."
There we go. Happy day. Happy day to you. Happy day to you, Rick. Happy day. Happy day. For those of you who might not be familiar as to why we're saying
"Happy day to you,"
and why Rick and multiple people in the chat are saying happy day, is it's not because we're like mental or anything, although that might be something to do with it. It's from Children of the Stones, that classic British sci-fi horror children's show from the late 70s. It was like, 76 or 77, I want to say. It came out. And luckily for you people, I had to buy the DVD years ago, which is great, by the way, because it comes with extras. But the complete series is now on YouTube. So if you're unfamiliar with
"Happy day to you,"
and Children of the Stones, we're not talking about Mick Jagger's kids, by the way. We're talking about something very different. Just type in Children of the Stones on in YouTube, and you'll find it, and the complete series is up there. So if you like dark gothic horror / sci-fi children's shows from the late 70s, it might be your bag, baby. So check it out, and don't forget,
"Happy day to you."
there you go. Let's see who else is in there. Oh, Firechild. Hey, Chris, how you doing, man?
Good morning. How are you?
There you go. That's Chris. Andy Young Says morning dude. I don't have a morning dude, but I can give you a.
Good morning.
There we go. Tim says, "Go watch PewDiePie." Yeah, he needs the viewers. He needs the viewers and the subscribers. This PewDiePie, he's like probably what, the most successful YouTuber on the planet. Millions of subscriptions. It's like, yeah, he needs it, baby. So yeah, go see PewDiePie. Adrian is here. Yo, Adrian. It's funny, the name Adrian. I always think of Adrian as a male name, like a boy's name, a man's name. But it's been commandeered by the females. There's a lot of females called Adrian now. Yo, Adrian. So I don't know. But I think Adrian is a dude, but I could be wrong. Tell me in chat if I'm right or wrong. Who else is in here? Oh, yep, there he is. Anthony Nicholas. Good morning, Gareth, from Port Talbot in Wales.
Good morning.
There we go. Good morning. Sublime Exploration. Yo, Gareth and y'all. Hey, Sublime, we heard a report that you'd hurt yourself. Is that true? Are you okay? Like you fell off a table or some shit. Is that true? Please tell us in chat. Obviously, you're in chat, so you're still around. It's not like you've shuffled off this mortal coil. You're still encased in this primitive physical reality. Let's see. Anyone else? Rick Horton says, this is kind of funny. The man, the myth, the legend, Tony L. That's right, Tony L. Barry Crump is here. Barry says, good morning, Gareth. Is it wrong of me to still fancy Linda Moulton Howe? Yes. Yes, Barry. It's wrong of you. You need to do something about that. I met her like a year or two ago at Alien Con, and she's only little. She's very small. Very small, little, petite old lady. But she's cool. I like Linda. Yeah, she's cool. I think she's very nice.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Let's see. Who else? Oh, he brings stars from Blake 7. Yeah. Gareth Thomas, my namesake, who's also Welsh, and unfortunately dead now. He passed on a few years ago. I think he died in 2015. He's the main guy in Children of the Stones. He's like the father of the kid when they moved to this little town in Wiltshire, where the Stone Circles are at. But why is every day hump day for you, Barry? Every day is hump day for me in that sense. I get the hump every day. I feel okay. Yeah, whatever. Let's see, coming to the end of the. Yeah, she's a special lady. Yes, she is. She's very special. Very special indeed. And there you have it. I think that's it. So don't forget, give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you can. Oh yeah, he said Matt hates her. I think that's a bit of a strong word. I don't think he hates her. I think he's like, oh, I fucking hate her. I don't think it's like that. But he did have a negative experience with Linda. Yeah. If you're unfamiliar with the Matthew Williams, Linda Howe, Moulton Howe story, I suggest on the next Secret Vault live stream or something, ask him about it. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to go through the saga with good old Linda. I mean, I saw one of her lectures, and then I met and talked to her for literally like less than 5 minutes. And she was very pleasant. But I think Matt had a far more involved encounter with her that wasn't very ultimately wasn't very pleasant, which is a shame. And I'll tell you what, though, I was aware of Matt's story with Linda. When I met her, in the back of my mind, there was this little voice saying, "Bring up Matthew Williams. Ask her about Matthew Williams." But I couldn't do that. I didn't have the gumption or the fortitude to go through and kind of, because she probably would have been like, "Who's that? I don't know who that is," knowing full well who it is. So I didn't go there. I was just, I was pleasant and polite. Asked her a few questions. Said, "Thank you for your lecture," blah blah blah, and she smiled and all that. And I think, I think, if I remember correctly, I think I videoed it too. I think it might be on the Alien Con video that I made. That was in 2019. Wow, where does the time go? Wow, flies by. If you haven't seen the Alien Con 2019 video I made, it's on this channel. It's on the Mindset Central channel. Just scroll through the massive videos that are rapidly accumulating on the channel. You'll find it. It's in there. It's Alien Con 2019. It's like maybe a 15-minute video. It's not a very long video. But I filmed some of the stuff that went on there. Made a little reportage video. Yeah, it was great. It was 3 days of events here in LA at the Alien Con. I really enjoyed it. And I was all eager to go to the next one, and because when it ended in 2020, they're like, "We'll be back next year, next summer, we'll be back." So we were all like stoked, like, "Oh, this is gonna be great! I can't wait for Alien Con 2020. It's gonna be off the hook. It's gonna be amazing." And then got canceled like so many other things last year, and this year, of course, it didn't happen. So fingers crossed, maybe 2022, after a 2-year absence, it'll spring to life. Because I'd love to go back. It really was a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Sublime. He says, "Howdy, guys. Sorry for the long reply." Well, what happened, Sublime? Are you okay? Tell us. We heard reports that you got messed up. Are you okay? I mean, what's the story? Morning Glory. Karen Hoyle is asking, is Children of the Stones available on Netflix or YouTube? Yeah, Karen, it's available on, I don't know, it might be on Netflix, I don't know, but it's absolutely on YouTube. It's the full series is available on YouTube. Just in your YouTube search bar, just type in, Children of the Stones, and it'll appear.
Happy day to you.
There you go. It will appear. I swear. Tim says, Gareth wants your take on the Pentagon's UFO BP report. Whose take do I want? Sublime's? I wanted to say, I don't know. Oh yeah, and it's free. It's free. It's all free. So, man, I'm like a little out of it this morning. I woke up. I'm not gonna. Should I do that then? It's every time I say I woke up this morning, in my head I hear, ba 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 ba, all the time. Yeah, I woke up this morning, and I gotta stop doing that. But I did. I woke. I woke up at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. this morning because I needed to go, to the bathroom. So I got out of bed, went to the bathroom, did my business, flushed the toilet, got back in bed, and then stared at the ceiling for like 2.5 fucking hours. I could not get back to sleep. And that is not a pleasant feeling, especially when you know that you got to be up the next day for work and this. It's horrible. It's a terrible feeling. And I want to get to I was thinking about buying, I remember Matt telling me about this. I was thinking about going and buying like one of those things of melatonin. you know. So then I could go to bed at like, I don't know, 9 o'clock or 9:30, 10 o'clock at the absolute latest. Take like 2 or 3 of those melatonin things, and then boom, knock out and get a good night's sleep, because I think it's catching up with me because I'm feeling really kind of out of it. And I know that last week I told you, like, after a full week of live streaming last Saturday, when I didn't have a stream, I slept till like 11:30 a.m. and it felt fucking great. So I'm very much looking forward to this weekend. Oh, this is interesting. Firechild, Chris, says, I always get the impression that Linda Moulton Howe is culpable in spreading misinfo, knowingly or not. She seems to want to believe too much. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I got that vibe too. When I saw her, she did a lecture at AlienCon about Antarctica and some strange alien artifacts that were found under the ice. And she has since made a documentary about it called, surprisingly enough, Antarctica. And I think it's on Vimeo. It's like an hour-long documentary about this, where she interviews these two Special Forces veterans who are blacked out, with voice changers, and they spill the beans on these artifacts that were discovered in Antarctica. And I remember watching it, like, thinking, well, how do you know that these guys were even in the military? They just look like two dudes. Could it be that you want to believe so badly that you get taken in by every fucking maniac that has some dopey story to peddle, right? And that was the vibe I got from it, because I mean these two guys are saying some very outlandish things, But I've learned over the years. I mean, I used to, when I would hear stuff that was way out there, I would immediately dismiss it, as the vast majority of people do, right? Because they're saying stuff that doesn't fit within your worldview of how the world works. Therefore, you're inclined to dismiss that information. But I've learned over time that even though my gut or my intuition is telling me that this is probably not true, that they're lying, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are. Right? It could be that they have access to some information that is real, but the information that they're telling me is beyond my view of how reality functions. And when you're confronted by information that doesn't fit into your worldview, as humans, it's normal, it's natural for us to dismiss this information, right? To just throw it away. Say, now, you're mental, you're full of shit, you're a bullshit artist, get the fuck out of my face. It's normal to feel that way. But even though you feel that way, it doesn't mean that you're right. Okay? It very well might be that this person is being honest and telling the truth and telling you something that's real, but you will dismiss it. So these two guys that were spinning this yarn, whether or not they're being honest, I mean, I honestly don't know. I do not know. What they're saying is a bit out there, and I'm inclined to dismiss it, but I could be wrong. And I was thinking, like, how would Linda know? And then a few months after, I heard an interview with her where someone asked her, "What's your process, Linda, of validating?" And she went through this whole list of all the things she does to validate. Where she goes, she gets the person's name, she gets their number, they get their military number, their military papers, and she digs into all that. So she proves to herself and to anyone else that asks, I guess, that these people are legitimate military personnel who are at the position in the military that they say they are and were stationed where they say they were stationed. And if any of that stuff doesn't fit, she's out. Now, even though she's confirmed all that stuff, it still doesn't mean that what they're telling her is true. But it does add fuel to the fire, so to speak. Anyway, that's me rambling about that stuff for a little while. Let me get things going here so I can see if I can start to get Joe on here. Anthony says he says, Gareth, good friend, is there any chance of you turning up your microphone modulation? Well, a couple of people have asked me this, that they can't hear it. And what I've done is I've left it as is, and then I've gone back and I've rewatched the stream afterwards to see if my audio quality is low. And every time I've done that, my audio quality has been perfect. So, I mean, I can turn it up, but I don't want to blow shit up. You know what I mean? Let's see. Where's Joe at? Let me see if he's on there. There's Joe. Joe Dunn. There he is. Let me say hello to him. Hello there, Joe. I think Joe's going to be, when we get him on, he's going to be on his phone. So he might, I don't know if he's going to be out and about in the middle of nowhere or maybe just kicking it in the backyard. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see when he comes back on. Yeah, Anthony says it is low. Okay, I'll turn it up. No, just a little bit though, because I've always checked and it's always fine. Is anyone else having a problem with my modulation? I mean, because I have tested it afterwards. I've gone back and rewatched the stream, and it's always been perfect. And so I don't want it to be like blasting out. Maybe Anthony, you could just turn up your volume. Maybe not, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I got to take a swig of coffee, and it's my first swig of the day. Oh my God. Yeah. There we go. Oh man, Tim is a RoboCop fan. Tags are playing tonight. There you go. Bitches leave. Can you fly, Bobby? Yeah. Let's see. Jackie says same here. Sound quality sounds good to me. Yeah, it might be you, Anthony. It's not me. It's you. So there you go. All right, before we fly into some Joe Dunn goodness, which we're waiting for him to respond to the message on Skype. To wake everyone up, let's have a little bit of Mark Rebulé. Let's get the blood flowing, the eyes open, the ears popping, and get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. Get up, and get the guy, go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
Whoa. That's what happens when you're trying to type and do other stuff, and we're saying, get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. Yeah. All right. Let's give Mr. Dunn a call, and we'll get Mr. Florida Trailblazer on. We'll talk to him, see what's up. I'm going to give him a call right now. We'll bring on Joe. Joe is, we're dialing out to Joe right now. Joe, are you there?
Hello.
I don't see you. There he is.
Can you see me?
There he is. Let me put
How
him
you
on
doing?
screen. It's
Can you hear me
Joe.
okay?
Check this out, man. Where are you, dude? Looks like you're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Where are you?
Middle of the woods, man. Good
Are
to
you
see
really?
ya.
For real?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I barely have a signal.
Oh, man. You're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. We
I can hear you. I can hear you good.
Yeah, I can hear you and see you. Can you see both of us?
Yep.
There we are. Look at us. Look at us. So where you at? Where you located? What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm out here in Central Florida, exploring this ghost town at this abandoned cabin. It's actually a little creepy out here today.
Creepy.
Yeah, a little freaky.
Abandoned. No, I know.
Nobody around for miles. So it's nice. It's beautiful. Nature, hearing the sounds of the birds and seeing the wildlife. But when you're in places like this, it's abandoned. You don't know who could be out here.
Well, this is what I was telling.
But welcome to my new house.
Yes, this is what I was telling the people that were watching. I was telling them about you as we were getting going, and I was saying that you just hop in the car and take the car as far as the car can go, and then you get out and you walk for miles on your own, out in the middle of nowhere, and you just film all this shit.
That's right. Yeah, I really enjoy doing that. Just getting out there, getting lost, going off the beaten path, and seeing what I can discover, like old ghost towns, cemeteries, all kinds of stuff like that. But just getting out there, like you said, you drive for miles. It's crazy to think you drive for so many miles just to walk for several miles into the woods. But it's a way to kind of get away from everything, you know.
It's meditative.
And, yeah, it is.
I'm amazed.
Like,
I'm amazed, Joe, that you have signal out there, though.
I know. I barely have a signal. That's why I'm actually shocked I was able to check in with you. I'm glad I can. So I apologize if it is laggy.
No. Look, actually, you know what? It's surprising. It looks surprisingly good, man. It doesn't look bad at all. If you could you center yourself in the screen a little bit? Just move over. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go. Now I can. There you go. Now I can see you.
I got my camera propped up here. I don't want to knock it over, cause a scene.
What is it? Is it you got it tied to a tree or something? What's going on?
Yeah, I got like a piece of old wood here, and I got my camera set up right up on there. Mm-hmm. So use nature as your tripod.
There you go.
Out here, yeah.
So,
how you like my cabin?
It looks great, man. But that's what we call in the business a fixer-upper.
Yeah, that's right. And this is actually the site of the new Mindset Studios.
That's it.
We're going to get this set up.
We're going to be moving in there real soon. Yeah, my Mindset Studios Florida branch right there behind Joe. Joe's going to hook that up. We don't see it on screen, but around his feet he's got gallons of paint and paintbrushes ready to go.
Yeah.
To start decorating that place.
When I first came up here, there's these windows in the back of this structure here. So I kept looking for a hockey mask.
Oh, man.
Looking out at me. It's just that's the kind of feeling you get sometimes out here. That Jason could be out here or see some. It's a perfect environment for that. But it feels like you're in the middle of the jungle too out in this place.
Well, let me ask you, Joe. There must be, because I know that you don't always go out by yourself, but most of the time it's just you, right? You go out alone.
Yeah.
Can you tell me some of the times when you've gone out and you're out in the middle of nowhere and you get that feeling like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, when you're out there by yourself, it definitely takes a lot of experience. I think when you go out hiking into these areas, you're getting used to that, being alone, and you get comfortable. You're out there hiking, you're just thinking about the nature. You're like excited making the videos, but there are those times you think, oh man, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing, nobody around. Something happens. It's just me, and that feeling comes over you. So I've been out there many times where I've felt, should I turn back? Or should I keep going, because I'm so passionate about making the video and getting to the sites, I don't want to give up. So there's many times where just recently I was out. I was already like 6 or 7 miles in. I still had about 4 miles to go. And on top of that feeling of should I turn back, there was these storms coming. So I was like, I got to finish my video. I got to complete the mission. You get so dedicated and passionate about being out there. And so I kept going, though, and I made it out there. But throughout that day, there were some different experiences that happened with wildlife and stuff like that too. So you got to watch out, alligators, things like that.
Yeah, because you're in Florida.
You definitely get that. Yeah, you definitely get that feeling.
Because you being in Florida, when you're out, there are significant wildlife dangers, Like you mentioned alligators, but there's venomous snakes, and aren't there some crazy ass spiders out there too? Some venomous spiders.
Yeah, that's one reason I was kind of a little freaked out at this cabin today. I was setting up my camera, and there's some spiders all over this area, right behind me, and actually probably on top of the roof here. Maybe some brown recluse ones. I don't know.
There's one coming down on a web right behind you right now.
Oh man, watch out!
Coming right down to your shoulder, dude.
There's some huge ones, big banana spiders. You'll be out there hiking, walking through the trails, and you can't see the webs, but they're so well constructed, and they're so thick, and they'll get right on your face. You don't see it coming until it's too late.
Now
you have a spider web all over you,
But those spiders, I think I've seen you've taken some photo. They're big, right? They're like the size of your hand.
That's right.
They're huge.
Palm of your hand, yeah. Definitely. And they get big, especially this time of year. When it starts to get hot and rainy out, they love to spin their webs just right across the trees. So when you're walking down the trail through the woods, you'll run right into the web if you're not careful.
Now those spiders though, the ones that the ones that are the size of your hand, the palm of your hand, they're not venomous, are they? Are they harmless?
I can't say for sure, but I think they are if you're allergic to them.
Right.
But if you're not allergic to them, I've been bitten many times. I know I've had bites on me. I've had no severe anything happen like that. But I've had people comment on my videos when I've made videos of them saying, "Oh, watch out for those spiders." So and so was paralyzed for a week in a hospital. Or something like that. So I can't say for sure. But I think when you're out here in the woods, you're going to get bit at some point or another by something. It's all part of the adventure. That's what I would say.
Part of the adventure.
Yeah. Not get wet, dirty, or bit by something.
Yeah.
It's like nature kind of inviting you in and taking you into its world. You got to sacrifice some of yourself to it.
Well, one of the things that would always, if I were doing what you were doing, what would worry me is if you're out there on your own and you're out in the middle of nowhere and you could fall, break your leg, get hurt. And if you don't have self-service, what do you do, man? You're screwed, right? How do you deal with that?
I know that's part of that feeling that you asked about earlier when you're out there in the woods and you're thinking about those instincts, and it does come across like, what do you do, especially alone? What you have to do is make sure to tell people where you're going to be at when you're going exploring. But what I think about all the time. If I get bit by a snake or something like that, it's like one of my worst fears is how am I going to get back? I'll just do what I can to get back. If I don't have a signal, I'm gonna I don't know. Hopefully I'll encounter that. But I did run into somebody recently on the trail that was lost and could have had that happen to them. So thankfully I saw them.
Well, I remember you telling me a story. This was a few years ago, where you were exploring not in Florida. This was outside of Florida. You're on like one of the big famous trails, and you're out in the middle of nowhere, literally nobody around for miles, and you start hearing a young child crying. Do you remember this?
I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
Can you tell us the story?
Yeah, it was like in the mountains, and up there in the mountains, the trails are really dense. You get out there, you can get lost easily. So I remember hearing this kid screaming, somebody screaming at least, and I didn't know what it was. And this little kid was lost out there, and we ended up finding him, and somehow he got lost from his parents. We got back to the trailhead with him, and there with his parents, and they were a little bit embarrassed, I think, about it too. They were thankful, but they were just like, how could I lose my child out here on the trail? But if we hadn't seen this child, he would have been going the wrong direction. And I remember he was throwing rocks and just trying to get noticed, because I could feel these rocks coming down on top of me. I was like, where are these rocks coming from? And things like that. And that was one of the first times in the woods where I've had an encounter like that, where you're stuck with yourself to make a decision. What do you do in those situations? You have to do the right thing, but it's like something just comes over you naturally, where you just know what to do, and just get that person back to safety.
It's got to be terrifying though, man. Just thinking you're out there, there's nobody around for miles, and you're hearing like crying, and there's this little kid on his own, scared out of his mind. It must have been terrifying. I can't even begin to imagine.
traumatized. I mean, I'm sure he still remembers it today.
Oh yeah.
You know, it'd be interesting to maybe if he found one of my videos one day or something.
Uh-huh.
I didn't record a video back then. You know, I was just more my.
Yeah. Right.
But recently, I recorded this video. I was out in the middle of the forest, and I encountered an older guy, probably about in the 70s. He was out there with no map, no water, and he was completely lost too. So thankfully, I came across him.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
he was like one of these photographers, like retired. You know, he was
Yeah.
doing like birding out there, shooting. And he just kept following the birds, and before you know it, you get lost on the trail.
You lose the trail, and you don't know where to get back.
Yeah, and I remember seeing him, and he's like, which way is the trailhead? Is it, you know, this certain way? He's like, I was like, no, you're going the opposite way.
So
And
did you
and I
walk
remember-
into safety, or you'd be like, hey man, nice to see. Okay, bye. Did you help him out?
Eventually, yeah, we helped him out. But that initial instinct too is you don't know if this person could be lying to you. You know, kind of trying to get close to you. So I was thinking, and he didn't come off that way at all when I first saw him. But those feelings, I think, you have to think about too. People will kind of trick you and might try to rob you out in the woods. Things happen like that, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking to myself, I'll point him back to Trailhead, and hopefully he'll make it back. But then I saw his condition. He was kind of dizzy and almost kind of falling over. He was all red. It was like 90 degrees that day.
Uh-huh.
And it was kind of open out in the middle of the just hot sun. So I could tell he wasn't in the best of condition, but he kept saying, oh, I can make it back. I can make it back. And that's when I knew. I was like, no, we got to take him back. And I could feel my instinct. I could trust them, you know. But there are those times you run into, there's those times you're out in the wilderness, you run into people, and you at certain situations, you had that feeling like you talked about earlier. And for you know, something's not right, you know.
Well, there was another guy that I used to watch a long time ago who used to go out on solo, completely alone, and go like really with no cell service, no like out in the middle of fucking nowhere. But he would always be armed. He'd always have a gun with him. And people would ask him like, well, why are you taking a gun with you? There's nobody around. Why are you taking it? And he says, well, obviously to protect from, you know, mountain lions and bears and shit like that, but also people. And he said, because when you're out that far and you're that alone, when you meet people out there, there's no middle ground. They're either really good or real fucking bad. There's no middle ground when you meet people out that far out in the middle of nowhere.
I totally agree with that. Just because you talked about the wildlife earlier that you could encounter and the things that could happen just to yourself or getting bitten by something. But to me, like running into somebody, that's one of the biggest fears because they could do anything could happen. And it's just you and that person. And I personally don't, I'm not armed, just so you guys know. So I'm pretty crazy, some might think, but I do have, you know, protection on me and just not a gun, but I always feel like I can run away. I'm a pretty good runner too. So like if I got to run and get out of here, you know. Yeah. And I've had to run many times from like storms and just getting out of situations, things like that. So I know I'm ready, but it does and also too, people go missing in the woods and stuff like that. So you gotta, all those things come across your mind when you're out in these places. But I try not to let that be the main thing I think about when I come out. You know, it's a positive thing.
Right.
Know? But you can't let that become the fear that lets you stop from coming out here.
Do you have one of those like those GPS things, like one of those little where you, if you were to fall and break your leg, you hit a button and it sends a signal kind of thing?
I don't have that. And I heard that's probably good to get, so I should get that.
Yeah.
Supposedly, if you have no signal or no matter where you're at, hit this button.
No, you could be anywhere on Earth. It doesn't matter where you are. If there's no cell signal, it doesn't matter. It's all done by GPS. It sends a signal. It pinpoints your exact location and then sends a signal to the satellite that alerts that tells them exactly where you are and that you're in difficulty, and then they'll send choppers or whatever to come and get you out. But I think it's a paid service though. Yeah, I think the actual box itself is $200 or $300, and then you got to pay every month for the service. And I don't know. You might think like, well, I've had this thing for years, nothing's happened. It's a waste of money. But you only need it when you need it. You know.
I think if I went like full-time crazy, like in a desolate mountains, middle of nowhere, I would probably get something like
It'd be
that.
worth it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. I feel pretty safe now, but I do also feel we rely so much on technology to even hiking. We rely on all these hiking apps and things like that. So
Yeah.
I always feel it's important to have a paper map if you can. Study the area before you go out. Just have some maps. Know where you're going. Like this guy I just talked about that saved to get back to the trail. He had no map. He just kind of went out there thinking, "Oh, I can go around." And I see it all the time.
That's pretty naive though to do that, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're going into an unknown area and you're just, I'll be fine. I'll be all. You're asking for trouble. You're asking for trouble.
Yeah, I think people just aren't used to it. Maybe it just they think it's like a casual hike, and it does appear that way at this area where I saw them. Like it's like a normal trail, but once you get out there, it does split off in different directions. So it's confusing. That's what happened, I think.
Yeah, and I guess because everywhere looks, trees look like trees. It's real easy to get to lose your bearings and be like, well, did I pass that tree? Is this the right? And then be like, the next thing you know, you're like, I have no clue where I am.
Yeah. One thing got me thinking too. I watched this special on Amazon. Was it the Jungle? Have you seen that? It's based on a true story.
It's called what's it called? The Jungle?
It's called The Jungle. Yeah, you should check it out.
Uh-huh.
But it gets you thinking if you go out hiking like this, because this guy went out to the Amazon jungle and he got lost, and he found his way back out at the end. I'll give away the story, but it's an incredible story how he made it out of there. Because when you watch the documentary, it's more like a movie when you watch it. But you think he's ever gonna make it, and so I was watching that. I was like, that's
scary,
intense stuff being in those areas. And that's when I would have that device that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Going down the Amazon or something like that.
Somewhere really, you'd get it. You'd have to really. I mean, that's a lifesaver.
I think it'd be cool to go down there though and see some of that ancient history. A lot of those lost tribes still supposedly live out there.
Yeah.
And what's incredible, we talk about technology. They have all this new technology now where they can fly these drones over to the jungles, the trees, wherever, and see right through them.
Right. So they have
that LiDAR.
The LiDAR, where they can see all the flare. They can see the heat signature of animals and the like.
And they're finding all kinds of stuff.
Well, in fact, they're using that technology to search for Bigfoot.
That's crazy.
And I mean, it sounds insane, right? But yeah, they're
it's a
doing
good technology to use
to try and search over, because some of these areas, like in the Pacific Northwest, the forests, they're so vast and so dense and thick. It's impossible to, it's huge. So they're flying the drones over with these sensors in like a grid, and then scanning so they can get like a good view of what's going on down below, and to see if they can find anything.
That'd be one way of definitely detecting it, for sure.
Yeah.
We have skunk ape here in Florida.
I was just going to ask you
descendant
about
of Bigfoot.
Yeah, skunk ape is it's basically Bigfoot, but it gives off a smell, right? Now, I know that you're out there constantly, Joe. Have you ever run into anything like that, or had like a weird experience out there on the trail or something?
I know a lot of people that have YouTube channels here in Florida that go out and do just that. They look for skunk ape. We call it skunk ape here, Bigfoot. And they tell me all the time, it's dangerous where you're going because they're always out there. And personally, I can't say I've seen one like face to face or like, God, this is on camera. You know what I mean? But I've had these times where I've heard stuff in the woods where it's pretty big. You don't know what it could be. Loud knocking sounds on trees, rocks being thrown. So I've had those experiences. But that could be anything, right? It could be you kind of question what you're hearing. But I've had some encounters where I've been in the middle of nowhere and I've heard these sounds, and it's like, where is this coming from? Like a banging sound, stuff like that.
Yeah, tree knocking. The tree knocking is with Bigfoot encounters very, and the throwing of rocks too is also very common.
And this one particular sound, because you could definitely tell it was something like a throw, like something was being thrown. You could just tell the way it hit the tree, and I could hear that. And then about a few minutes later, I heard a loud bang down by the river, so I went down there. I was going to film the alligators anyway down there, so I had to go down there anyway. And there was nothing down there. I thought there could be like a fisherman down there or something, try to rule out the sound. It
So
sounded
what-
like it sounded like a tailgate, like a piece of metal just hitting. I don't know what it was.
Now,
So you hear
that's-
different.
That's fascinating to me because I've been reading a lot about Bigfoot, and what you just described there is also something that's very common. Is that you're out in the middle of nowhere, like maybe sometimes hundreds of miles away from the nearest town or whatever, and the area that you're in, it's literally impossible to get a vehicle of any kind into that area, and yet people out there, they'll hear like a car door slam, or like you said, a tailgate on a truck slam, which is impossible, completely impossible. But there's so many reports of people hearing that, and now
That's
you
what it was.
and now you just said the exact same thing.
That's what it was that day, and I remember going down there just to investigate it because I wanted to film the alligators, and there was no vehicle down there. There couldn't be a vehicle down there, but it was just
You
one of
heard
those
it.
sounds that you hear. That's what I encounter a lot. It's just you hear the sounds.
Yeah.
You don't and stuff sloshing through the swamps. We have a lot of swamps in Florida, so you can hear it going through the water. So it could be like wild boars or bears, things like that. But you definitely know there's big stuff out there, and so those encounters, you get those feelings too, like we talked about. There's something not right.
Now, when you're experiencing that, Joe, and you're alone, what goes through your mind? Are you like I need to leave, or I'm intrigued, or a mixture of both? What are you thinking?
At first I'm intrigued. I want to, and then I'm like, should I leave? But it is a mixture of both. But me wanting to video stuff and just being part of the adventure. I want to keep going out there. I'm curious. I don't want to leave. So, but there have been times at cemeteries though where I've been a totally different thing where I've felt like where I had to leave right away. Like that energy came over me.
Right.
So I've had those feelings too. But I personally am curious. I'd rather video and go and check it out and document what I'm seeing, no matter what it is. But there's also that feeling of that fear, like you talked about. But there are times where I've had to get out of certain areas. I just got to leave. I was filming a cemetery. I just felt like I give myself 2 minutes. I just want to get some footage and I'll get out of here. I just felt this, I get that feeling
You get
sometimes.
the vibe.
And call me crazy, but
No.
I think when you're in nature too, that your senses get heightened. You can feel a lot more out here than you normally could.
We should let everyone know how strange this is. I want to just kind of paint a picture. Imagine if you're on a hike out in the middle of literally nowhere, and you're walking through a dense forested area, and suddenly there's a small clearing, and you go through the clearing, and you find gravestones.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, Joe, because to me that's bizarre.
I was just that one. It is. It's in the middle of the woods. You go through these woods. You see this rotted fence just kind of bent over. I climbed over the fence, and it opens up into. There must have been like 30 to 40 graves there.
Wow.
Some water, and the tombstones cracked, destroyed. Tombstones, some are gone. You just see the depressions in the ground. You can tell someone's buried there, but there's no tombstone.
And what do you remember any of the dates on the tombstones? How old were they? Like.
Some of these were like 1830s,
Okay.
1890s, early 1900s.
All right, so
you can tell it was in the cemetery.
100 years, little over 100 years.
Yeah, and also too, I think these areas before these cemeteries were put there was unmarked burials that we may not know about today. Because in Florida, they're discovering all kinds of unmarked cemeteries that have been paved over,
right,
or just are lost, things like that. So even the ones I find in the woods, there might be like 30 tombstones or 30 graves, but there's like 20 other ones that just aren't documented.
But isn't there like you'd think that if there was a graveyard or a cemetery, there'd be some kind of surrounding structure, like a church or a building, or because cemeteries are traditionally part of a community, right?
That's right.
Should be a community around there. But what you're saying is that there's no trace of any community or build. There's just the cemetery. Is that correct?
In this area, yeah. I mean, I did find like an old house kind of nearby there. So that's what happens. They build their homesteads kind of by where they buried their loved ones. So that's back in the early days. That's what they did. So many of the structures are torn down. So what's left is the cemetery. So that's what you find a lot of times. And I found just a lone grave site like 5 or 6 miles out of the middle of the woods. Like, what is this cemetery? What's this? It wasn't even like a cemetery. It was just someone's grave site.
Just
In
one,
the tomb, one grave site, yeah.
like
In the middle of
but like
middle of what?
like a legit grave with a tombstone, all that shit.
Yep. Yeah, he died in 1920. The guy did. It's his only tombstone there. So you wonder, are there other graves around just not documented? But
Yeah,
I
but
didn't know. There's nothing around for woods, nothing but woods there.
it makes you think,
Makes you
though,
wonder.
man. Well, it makes you wonder, like, why would you bury one person out in the middle of nowhere with like a gravestone and all the stuff, but like just one in the middle of nowhere? That blows my mind. What do you think? I mean, you've dug into history and stuff in that area. What have you discovered anything as to why stuff like that would happen?
That's the perplexing thing about it. You'll research some of these areas, and you'll come up with a lot more stuff. What's behind them? But in this case, I couldn't find anything about what this guy, what he was there for. He may have worked at a nearby town, but there's no records of him really. Just his burial records there. That's it. From like when he died, when he lived and died. That was it.
Wow.
I found that online, but no photos. It's incredible to me because back in those times they had photographs. People could take photos. They had technology.
Yeah.
So you think you'd find more photos of some of these areas because in some places you research and look up, you find more photos. So it just depends. But yeah, it definitely is a mystery, and that's what keeps it coming back out to these places. Because you want to, once you find out, you're like, what else could be out here? You know, it's that rush, that feeling. It's exciting to me.
Well,
but I also like uncovering the history because it's inspiring to others too. You know, you might be someone's family member they never knew about. I've had that happen too. Like I got messages from people like, "Oh, thanks so much for finding that grave site."
No shit.
I didn't know my relative was buried here, and now we go out there and visit it and things like that. So I've gotten that. So part of making these videos for me is not just to find and it's cool, but also making a difference through it. Somehow.
Well, you've been pretty much addicted to this for a long time now, right?
Yeah.
Going out. That's been your deal. Going out on the weekends. I remember talking
whenever I can. Yeah.
I remember talking to you years ago, and I said, "What do you got planned for the weekend, Joe?" He said, "Well, Saturday I'm getting up early and I'm going to," and you'd be gone. You'd be fucking gone, dude. You know what I mean?
And I'll be back doing the podcast with you.
Yeah.
Remember,
you'd be gone.
And actually, man, you're early on because one of my inspirations because you're always out doing videos. So I was like, I always wanted to go out and record stuff too. So I found something I love recording.
Yeah,
so it's just what I love doing. Documenting it. It just kind of grows the more you do it. Something like that too.
Yeah.
You want to keep doing it.
So what started out as like just a hobby, going out and exploring and hiking, something that you found that was fun to do, it's kind of grown into your thing now. So you want to tell everyone what you're up to and what it's all about?
Yeah, I mean, besides making the videos every week, I'm doing like random tours from here and there, stuff like that. So just keeping up with all that sort of stuff. I have a lot of merchandise, things like that. So I'm not trying to be down here to sell stuff. But
step back a little bit. Let's see your shirt.
I got a Florida Trailblazer shirt here.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Oh,
stuff
you're breaking up
like
a little
that.
bit. Yeah, breaking. We might have lost Joe. I don't know. Oh, there we go. He's back. Oh no, you're breaking up a little bit.
Hold on.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
I don't want to move around too much.
The signal. How many bars you got?
It's this
bars?
cabin, man.
The cabin is haunted, dude. Who's that standing behind you, by the way?
Oh man, watch out. Speaking of haunted areas, if you guys visit Florida, I was just actually visiting St. Augustine. It's the nation's oldest city.
Oh wow.
And you talk about some areas that because I got all kinds of messages. Oh, you got to do the haunted tours and all. It's a big thing there. It's the haunted tours, but there's a lot of stuff there. Just old buildings. I did a lighthouse where I just walked to this old lighthouse. Mm-hmm. Supposedly that's haunted, and that was interesting too. Walking up that lighthouse, I was going up like midway through, and I could hear this loud banging on the wall there, like a window being kind of slammed, like the wind was hitting the window, but the window wasn't moving. Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe there's something here. I don't know. But that city is an old city. You definitely get that vibe there.
You can feel it.
Are there places like that where you live? Where you old cities and stuff like that.
There you gotta really get out of LA to fall. You gotta get out into the desert areas to find the old homesteads and stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta drive for a while to get out there. There's some ghost towns and things like that that are all deserted and falling apart and stuff.
I'd be exploring all those areas if I was over there, you know.
Yeah, I bet you would. I bet you would.
Yeah.
But there's nothing close by. You got to get out and drive for a couple hours to get out there and see
That's
that,
what was
that kind
cool
of
about
stuff.
this area here in Florida, because there's so many areas that are like newer cities, you know, newer towns.
Uh-huh.
And but a lot of these newer cities were once old towns. I'm actually doing a lot of research now on ghost towns,
Right.
and a lot of these ghost towns are gone or just paved over. But I like looking up the history behind them.
Uh-huh.
So when I visited like St. Augustine to see some of the old cities there, like the old buildings, that was neat because we don't have a lot here in Florida left. A lot of stuff's being destroyed or just built up,
So
like a lot of new development, you know.
So in many ways, you're like archiving the past, right? You're
Trying to,
you're
yeah.
documenting all of these places, which 10 years from now probably won't exist anymore.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
just want to keep it going any way I can, you know, documenting all these places and learning about them. And it's also inspiring because the more you learn about something like this, it's like a rabbit hole. You go down more and more, you know?
Yeah, totally.
It's how it is. And, especially with the cemetery history, like you said, finding a cemetery, you're like, oh, why was this here? And then like, next thing you know, you're like hours in on researching something, you know, it's just the way it goes. But I love that part of it, the process, the journey.
Well, Joe, tell us about. Let me just inform the audience. Joe, for a little while back in, was it 2019 or 2018? Joe became nationally famous here in the U.S. because he made once again out in the middle of nowhere, and you hear a dog crying, right, or a dog barking. And you made this video, and this video fucking exploded, and you got interviewed on TV and everything. Tell us about that.
And I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
When I rescued this dog, I just was making a video that day, and it was sort of a 2-day adventure. The first day, I was out there in the middle of the cave. I could hear a dog crying. I was going to video the cave as a cavern. I could hear like a howling sound coming from the cave. So got up there and I was videoing. I was like, how am I gonna get this dog out? So I spent a lot of time.
So he was right down at the bottom, like a well, right? Stuck right down the bottom. Oh, you're breaking up, Joe. Oh no. You're just coming to a good part of the story. He's breaking up. Did I lose Joe? We might have lost him. Oh man, he really is out in the middle of nowhere, no signal. Looks like we lost Joe. Let me try and call him back. Let's see if I can call him back. Maybe. Let's see. Isn't technology amazing? I'll try and call him back. Let's see if I can get him back. We lost the signal with Joe. No answer. Oh, here we go. Let me try again. I'll try one more time. If not, we'll just move on. But let me try if I can get a hold of him one more time. We have him. I'll have him try call me. See if he can call me. If not, then we'll move on. But I'm hoping, because I really wanted him to tell the story of the dog, because it's a great story, and I wanted him to go through that with you guys. Let's see if he can call me back. Probably not. Okay, so while we're waiting for Joe to come back, if he comes back at all, oh, here we go. He's typing something. Okay. Let's try again. I'll try again. Come on, Joe. There he is. I think he's back.
Hello.
Are you back, Joe?
I'm back.
There we
Yeah,
go.
sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody watching.
There he is. All right, we lost you for a second.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm so sorry.
It's not your fault, man. It's just the signal. So tell us. So you're walking along. You hear this dog barking and crying, and you find the cave. You look in the cave, and there's this dog way down the bottom of this deep trench.
Yeah, it was really hard to see that too. Like, what do you do in that situation? It's a living thing down there stuck, and it's like I had to get this dog out. About 30 feet down in, and it was like a vertical drop. I didn't have any rope or anything like that with me. So I spent a good time just looking around the area, see if I could find it. I found a large tree trunk, and I managed to drag that over to the cavern. I lowered that down into the cavern, hoping the dog would climb up the thing, but she didn't want to do that. She just kept, and she was in good shape. She's running around down there, like happy to see me. You know what I mean? Like, oh, thankfully someone came here. That
Finally,
kind of feeling. Like, wasn't like her.
You were her savior,
that.
dude. You're her fucking savior.
She was so excited and kept jumping up, but she wouldn't get on the log. You know, I was like, get on the log, come up. And,
yeah.
And then I had someone with me too, so I was like, I'm gonna climb down there. And then they're like, no, you'll get stuck down there then too. You know.
Right.
So I was like, what do you do? So, and actually about that time, this is like during the rainy season of Florida where a storm can come in anytime. These crazy storms. So thunder, lightning, I could hear it coming. So we had no phone signal. You talked about not having a signal. Didn't have a signal out there. So, we had to leave that area, and I was like, I'm determined to come back the next day, or at least call somebody to come out there the next day.
Did you drop some food down? How long had it been down there?
Yeah. At that time I didn't know.
Right.
But apparently it'd been down there for a few weeks.
Lost for
a few weeks, but I'm not sure how long she had
Oh,
been
I see.
down
So
there.
the dog had been lost for a couple of weeks, but you don't know how long it had been stuck in the cave.
I fed her, like, had some snacks and things like that in my pack, drop it down, whatever I could.
Was she gobbling that up?
Oh, yeah. Yes. But she had been down there a while. She was pretty skinny, you can tell.
Right.
And, but anyways, the storms were coming in, so I had no signal, and I was like, well, I'm going to leave, but I'm going to find a way the next day to get someone out there. And so actually, just by chance, I went home. I posted on my social media sites. So you talk about growing, like my, Florida Trailblazer. I went on my Florida Trailblazer page on Facebook, and I posted like, hey, anybody out there that can help me with this dog, let me know. I'll give you the location. You can go out there and save it if you want, or what we can do, anything. Right? Yeah. Somebody messaged me. They live kind of close by, and they'd set up rigs and equipment for concerts. So they held this rope and gear, stuff like that already. And they watch my videos. Like, hey, we watch your videos, and we'll come out with you if you want, and we'll take our gear out there, some ropes, and these guys are professionals. You go to like a concert, you see the guys up on the big areas, like where the lights are. They're setting up all the lighting.
They're setting up all the rigs and everything. So I mean, when you think about it, Joe, you really fucking lucked out that they contacted you.
Yeah, because I posted that message, and one of the guys from that team watches my videos. He's like, hey, let me contact my friends. These guys are pros. We'll all go out there with you. And actually, it was a 5-mile hike out to the cave to get out there. So we went out that early that morning. These guys are so great. It wasn't just them. These guys were calling people all around the state for this one dog. Right. They had like 30 to 40 people lined up if we really wanted to get crazy with it. Yeah. These guys were like so desperate to help out. I never seen anything like that. It was inspiring that everybody would come together to help just a dog, but it was helpless down there. But anyways, just they came out with some of their team, and we hiked out for the second day that morning, the 5 miles. And the whole time going out there, we were walking. We're like, I hope she made it through the night. That's the one thing we kept thinking, because that'd be a little disturbing if she didn't make it. You got there and
she was dead. Yeah.
Oh man, we got there and the same thing. You could hear her like barking and howling. Yeah. And so these guys, man, they set up all these riggings across the trees, and I videoed the whole thing. Oh, yeah. And they climbed down, they pulled her up, and the first thing she did was gobble up all the food. And I videoed all that stuff, and then I put that on my YouTube channel, and it did, like you said, the local news station saw it, they picked it up, they wanted to interview me. The next thing you know, it went on like national news. Yeah. So that week was pretty crazy. I had people calling me all the time, like messaging me, hey, you want to do an interview, all that kind of stuff. So
that's awesome, man.
It was inspiring, exciting for all that to happen, but it was also the main reason I did it was to help that dog.
Oh,
I didn't
of course,
expect it to happen through the video. It just
It
so
just
happened.
blew up.
Yeah, and because you see all that kind of stuff all the time. People, lost animals in the woods. I've seen it
Yeah.
before. People just go out there and leave their animals in the woods. I was just out in about a few months ago, man.
Uh-huh.
I was out hiking. I saw a lost cat, stray cat. I'm like, not again. But it was a cat. This cat was good. I actually took her home and adopted her.
Oh, so
but
you kept the cat.
Yeah, she was lost. So I was like, it was another like one of these animal rescues, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like a cave or anything like that. She was just lost in the woods. Someone must have dropped her off.
Right.
That happens all the time, unfortunately. People just
Yeah.
leave their animals out. And but she was hungry. She actually hiked with me on the whole hike that one day, the first day.
It's just following you.
Yeah, so I took her home and got her to the vet, and now she's a spoiled cat. So but the dog story was interesting too, because she had a collar on, so we were able to contact the owner
Oh, wow.
and get the dog back. So, and initially we're like, we wanted to keep the dog, of course, but the right thing to do was get the dog back to the owner because they had the collar.
Exactly. So how did the owner react when you called him up and said, "Hey, I got your dog"?
He was surprised. You could definitely tell he was surprised that we had found her. We met up later on that day.
Was he like mad? Like, fuck, I dropped that fucking dog off to get rid of that goddamn thing, and now this fool's calling me up to give it back? I can't get rid of this fucking dog.
He was like, wow, she's like really. He was like, wow, she's really far out there. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he was surprised and happy. We met up with them. We had at a cafe nearby there. So and then we had the dog released to him that day. So thankfully, I had a caller. But
did he at least buy you lunch, Joe? Come on, be honest.
Yeah, no, I didn't buy us any dinner, man. So
He's all, I'm keeping the dog. Fuck you. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and actually we had it lined up. If we didn't have any owner for the dog, we had a shelter lined up. So we had like volunteers already lined up with funding to take care of the dog. But one of us would have took her for sure.
Yeah.
But it was cool, man. And I'm glad to make a difference. It was a good experience. But the video, like you said, it was insane how much people watch that. People still do watch it. I still get comments on it,
It's a great video. It really is, and I would recommend for everyone watching the stream, check out Joe's channel, Florida Trailblazer. Easy to find. All you need to do is go fire up YouTube and just type in 2 words, Florida Trailblazer, and this guy right here, there he is, right there. This guy will appear.
Yep.
And he uploads videos
here at this cabin.
At the cabin. That's his home. That's his home base.
My home, yeah, man. My new home out here.
You publish videos what, daily, weekly? What's your schedule, Joe?
I try to post videos weekly, every few days. I mean, I have so much content, so I try to break it up. But every week, you can rest assured there's going to be a video on there. So 1 to 2 a week at least. I try. And I'm also on Instagram at FL Trailblazer. I'm also posting video clips on there, just small little clips and stories and stuff like that. So I try to post stories every day, just of my adventures, like random clips. So you can always have some kind of adventure to watch. So that's my thing. Always something to watch. Like keep the content rolling. And that's why like now I'm just always got a video stuff, when I'm out here.
Yeah,
even
totally.
like today I'm out here. I come out here to this town where we just found this cabin. Videoing this today. So.
Well, I remember because Florida is known for its hurricanes and the like. And I remember a few years ago there was like, I forget which one it was, but there was a hurricane going to hit Florida, and it was a real bad one, like majorly bad. And you and I were talking, and I said, "Can I record this?" You're like, "Yeah, sure." And I recorded the conversation we had. And you were talking about prepping for the hurricane and what you were going to do, and I mean, there was from my side, it was because I've never been in a hurricane, so it was a massive curiosity. But the more I thought about it was like, how fucked up is this? You want to tell everyone some of the bullshit you had to go through I mean, luckily everything was fine and you got through it and everything was cool, but you had to get all kinds of crazy shit ready.
Yeah, and the first thing is when a hurricane's coming, you usually have a lot of notice because the news will come on like 5 days from now this storm's coming.
Yeah.
At that time, a frenzy is created. oh no, we got to stock up on everything. The gas shortages.
Right.
So you got to get everybody fuels up on gas. You can't get gas anywhere, so you got to get out there right away. Water. You go to like Costco, these big box stores.
Yeah.
All the water's already sold out.
Uh-huh.
So you got to get going through all that kind of stuff. You're filling up the bathtub with water. Just because you never know if you run out of water.
Right.
I don't have a generator, but a lot of people could buy generators because if you lose, oftentimes people lose power during the storms. That's one of the hardest parts because you have no power besides like flooding and all that kind of stuff. So the preparation of all that, if you wait till the last minute, that's the part that can be frustrating. So even right now in Florida, there's already tropical storms out in the Gulf. They didn't hit here to hit up in like Texas or Louisiana, I think.
Yeah.
But I would be preparing already. I'd be going out and buying stuff, putting in my garage. I should be doing that, because in about 2 months, But yeah, like you said, it's that part of it. But you never know where they're going to strike because they come up the state and then they change at the last minute.
Yeah, they change
That's usually what
direction.
happens. In this particular one you're talking about, it went up the central part of the state, right up from the south tip of the state all the way through central Florida. So even though it went over all that landmass, the landmass isn't that wide for that big of a hurricane. I mean, the whole thing, if you look at the satellite map images, it was incredible, covered the whole state. I mean, all the way out into the Gulf, into the Atlantic. It was just like, so when you see that coming at you, people like freak out. So I stayed at our house. So by the time where it hit where I was at, it was sort of like a hurricane 1 level. So it wasn't too bad.
You just had like a lot of rain, right? Ton of rain and stuff.
Yeah, but you can hear the trees hitting up against the house, the structure. So that's scary. You hear that all night. I got to be.
Didn't you like sleep in the closet under the stairs or something with a mattress around you or some shit?
I didn't do that, but I would go in my. If I had to, I would go in my closet in my bedroom there.
Yeah.
It's probably the best spot.
That's where you
But
can go.
These structures they build here, I don't have a concrete block house, so it's just a wooden. It would just fall over.
It'd be done.
If the wind but the roofs are supposedly hurricane safe. They're not going to fly up, but you see it all the time, right? The roofs fly up. So that's the scary part you think about. Like, oh, is the roof just going to peel open? That's what you think about because you hear the wind you hear that howling sound. That wind, it's like a whistling. If you hear that all night, that's kind of scary because and actually I couldn't sleep that good that night. I remember just staying up.
Yeah.
Because the anxiety and all that stuff. And luckily it passed over, but it takes hours and then it keeps raining. And I think that one of the worst parts is if it happens at nighttime. You can't see what's going on.
Exactly. And you lost. I remember you saying that you had to keep your phone plugged in at all times because you wanted to make sure your phone was charged.
Yep.
And then you lost power for a while, right? So when you woke up in the morning, there was no power. Everything was off. Everything was done.
Lost power for a little while, and luckily not too long, like a lot of other people. But you don't know. So that's the thing too. When you lose power, you try to find a way. You log on, say, use your phone. You log on to like their websites of the electric companies, and it just says, "Oh, the power will be restored within like a week," or it doesn't tell you it doesn't tell you a day,
right? Or
like the time. So you're like, "Oh, it could be any time." It's like, "Oh man."
Scary.
So
man.
I made sure all my stuff was like charged up.
Scary.
But that's nothing compared to what people actually go through the worst scenarios of these things, man. You know what I mean? And it's scary when it comes at you. And I'm scared for this year because we've had some crazy storms already. Just thunderstorms here in Florida in the month of June. And I keep thinking we're going to have a bad summer. I think with storms.
When is hurricane season? Is it like towards fall, like September, October time?
We're in it right now,
Okay.
but the peak season is around that time, like August, September, October. We get hurricanes usually in this part of Florida about that time. But I just saw one out in the Gulf and here in June, so I usually don't see that much. That was crazy.
Well,
so
hopefully you won't get a major.
No shortage of rain, that's for sure. And it was crazy because a few months ago it was so dry,
Yeah.
And I know where you're at, man. It's so dry. You probably have a wildfire still going on, right?
Wildfire season isn't till like September, October. That's when California.
Okay.
That's when California burns.
But I thought it's been dry already. Like it's
dry. It's dry. The last rain we had was like March or April, something like that.
It's been really hot out there with the drought.
It's hot. It's not crazy hot, but it is. It's nice. It's not horrible.
Because I know in some parts of the country out there in the West, I've been seeing on the news, it's been like record droughts. I didn't know if you were experiencing that.
Vegas last week was 130.
Oh my gosh!
In Vegas, 130 degrees. Can you believe that shit?
It's about 90 to 95 degrees here, so it's not that hot, but the
The
humidity is different.
humidity fucks
It's
you up.
different.
Yeah.
I tell you, like you'll be drenching with water, just sweat coming
Yeah.
off of you within
You
like
gotta-
2 minutes if you're not used
you
to
gotta
it.
constantly be drinking water to
Yeah.
replenish because you're sweating so much from the.
I never
heat.
experienced that kind of heat out there in the desert like you're talking about, or in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is.
And they have water shortages, I'm sure.
Well,
actually, I heard the dam is at the shortest it's ever been at that big dam out
The
there.
Hoover Dam, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
Wow.
that kind of heat. Even though it is fucked up, it's still better than humidity. It's
Yeah,
it's
I
still
bet.
better than humidity. I mean, when it's 130 degrees outside, you can only go outside for maybe 10 minutes, maybe, and then you gotta go back in. You cannot be outside for more than 10 minutes. It's horrible. You got to go back inside.
Here you get used to it, when you're out here. So it's like a sticky kind of feeling right now, like a hot, sticky, but you get used to it.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's not like a dry heat like you're saying.
Right.
It's actually, there's a nice breeze coming through, so that kind of cools it off. But I know in about 2 hours there's gonna be some storms
It's going to
coming
be
through.
brutal, yeah.
I checked the weather radar. That's one reason I hiked out to this cabin, because I was like, I want to talk to you today. I was like, at least I'll have some shelter if these storms pop
You
up.
get a
Because you
little bit
never
of
know
shade.
in Florida. You never know in Florida when these storms will just pop up in the summertime. It could be any time of the day. It's crazy.
Wow.
But I've been going to some cool beach areas. I was over at St. Augustine, so make sure to check that out. That the whole area, I found some cool. And then I was just over here on the Gulf side. I went over some cool beach areas over here. Now there's a red tide going on, which is crazy.
What's that?
Have you ever heard of that?
No, what is that?
It's like this algae that forms in the Gulf.
Oh, is that the one when you walk, it all lights up? It's luminous. Is that the
Oh
one?
no,
I've
it's not
seen that. I've seen that.
Yeah, that's different. I know you're talking about this.
Yeah.
This is like an algae that forms in the Gulf, and it's when the water gets really hot. It's a red tide. It kills all the fish, and it smells really bad. It's toxic. You don't be swimming in that stuff. So I went out there last month, and just as the red tide was coming in, so I made it just in time, man. But I remember I couldn't breathe. It was so.
It's the stench.
I'd never experienced that. I was like, what is
Yeah.
that? It's like.
It's
So
bad.
we have a problem with that right now with the red tide. It's so hot.
Ouch.
That's why I was talking about we're gonna have a bad storm season because the waters are so hot. That's what causes the tide that algae to bloom up.
Yeah.
So imagine that they feed off the heat, these storms that come in.
Yeah. The water
So-
heats up and causes the storms, the hurricanes. Well, Joe, we're rapidly approaching the end of our time together, but I want to give you an opportunity to let everyone watching know how they can find you and how they can get your channel and watch your adventures out in the middle of fucking nowhere. So, so tell everyone where they can reach and find Joe Dunn, the Florida Trailblazer.
Thanks for having me on. I definitely appreciate it, and I appreciate all you watching. Search YouTube, Florida Trailblazer, youtube.com/FL Trailblazer is my channel. So posting videos mainly there every week, and then go to Instagram at FL Trailblazer. And if you guys are on Facebook, you can just search Florida Trailblazer on Facebook. I have a page there, so I post content to that. So all your support means a lot. Any way I can reach you with my adventures, that's what it's about. So I appreciate that, and it's good to talk to you as well, man. And this conversation goes so fast every time.
I know, flew by.
I wish you were here in this cabin with me. You'd like it. Yeah, but you are. That's why I wanted to check in with you. I know you'd like to see this.
Virtual. I'm in the virtual cabin, I guess.
You would like my collection here, my record collection.
Yeah, right. In the humidity and the heat and the broken down cabin, absolutely.
I enjoy all your posts too, all your music stuff, and lately, and all the
thanks, man.
Retro stuff you've been posting, all the technology. That's crazy.
Retro tech. Yeah, you posted some mini disc stuff the other night. That was pretty cool.
I like everything you're doing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, cool deal, man. We'll talk again, Joe. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And everyone, check out Joe's channel. Have fun hiking, Joe. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Later, man. Bye. And there you go. Joe goes off into the ether, and away he goes, which leaves just us. We are alone at last. At last, we are alone. Hope you enjoyed that. It was always great talking to Joe. Hopefully you enjoyed that conversation. And we're going to start wrapping things up here. Let me just go through a quick look on some of the comments, see if anyone... you know what I've noticed? I've noticed that if I have a guest on and it's interesting, the comments stop. Have you noticed that? I noticed that. Nobody comments. But if I have a guest on and it's kind of boring or whatever, well, no, maybe boring is the wrong word, but it's not grabbing. People will keep commenting. But if it's a fascinating guest, the comments just, they stop because everyone's watching the stream. Let's see. Firechild UK, Chris says the Watt 3 Words app seems to be popular for emergency location if you have a phone signal. Yeah, if you have a phone signal, that's the whole thing. Is I mean, Joe's been doing this for years, so he's well acquainted to be being out there, out in the middle of nowhere and doing all that stuff. So he's well aware of what's going on. It's fascinating stuff, though. And I know he's had some creepy tales. We didn't really get into some of the things that he's encountered out there, but we touched on the skunk ape, otherwise known as the Bigfoot. The story with the little boy out in the middle of nowhere, I think, is a great story, because I keep thinking, if you put yourself in the place of that little kid, can you imagine how terrifying? You've lost your parents, and you're in the middle of nowhere. And it was only complete random chance that Joe walked by and heard the crying. Imagine if no one had walked by. That would have been it. The kid would have died, you know? So in many ways, and this might seem a little bit overdramatic, but in many ways, Joe saved that kid's life just by hearing him cry, you know? Amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, let's start calling it a day here. I got to wrap this up, but I want to thank you all for coming by. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel. Do so. Get your subscribe on. Hit the button. Subscribe. Hit the button and the bell and all that good stuff. Give me some thumbs up. We're up to you got 4 thumbs down. What the fuck is wrong with you, fucking mental cases? I don't get that. But give me some thumbs up. We're up to 23. Let's make it like 25 or 26. Just hit the thumbs up real quick before we wrap this up. Just boom, boom, hit the button. It literally takes half a second out of your extremely busy day to hit the thumbs up button. So go ahead and do that. All right, guys, I'm going to call it quits for today. I want to thank you all for coming by. I hope you enjoyed the show. I had a blast. If your day is just starting, have a great Wednesday. Enjoy yourself. Get through the day. Have fun. If you're in the UK or Europe or another part of the world where it's late afternoon, have a great evening, relax, have a good dinner, settle down in front of the TV, watch a good movie or something, and enjoy yourself. And I will be back tomorrow, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, Pacific Standard Time, Mindset Mornings. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Beseño.